Hi, how's it going? I'm Marlene. Thanks for wandering by. So, this week was not great. I got sick, my daughter was sick and I got sick, so we were out of from work, out from school, and like plans that I had to get put on the back burner, just like are probably not going to happen, things like that. So like, things things just did not work out, basically. And that's life, right? Things happen, things don't work out. So, in honor of that, I wanted to kind of highlight and talk about the things that did not work out that for me this year. So I will be coming out with, hopefully, that's the idea. I want to bring to you like my favorite decks, my favorite practices, things that I really truly loved and enjoyed this year of 2025. But since this week was kind of like a week, I thought that it would be funny, interesting, kind of what just is on my mind of the things that did not work for me in 2025, the things that I didn't like, didn't enjoy, didn't finish, didn't work overall. And I think it's good to talk about these things as well as the things that we love, so that, because there might be like something that didn't work for me that you'll hear about and be like, oh, I think that would really work for me. So, yeah. So without too much, preamble and such, I'm going to talk about some books. I'm going to talk about some practices maybe, and some decks. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. First, let's talk about books. And maybe I'll leave timestamps for you that aren't interested in the books, and just want to hear about the practices and the decks. But I'm just gonna I have my Goodreads here, and I'm just gonna like go through the books that I either did not finish, or DNF'd, right? Or that I read and gave like 2 stars. Because I don't know that I either give 2 stars or like no stars. And no stars usually, I'm gonna segue into talking a little bit about books, but like the way that I rate books on that 5 star system is, I mean, it's all subjective, of course, but like for me, 5 stars really means something that I just like absolutely adored. Like, I think it's just like I would buy it, I would keep it on my shelves, I would reread it, I talk about it constantly. Just a book that I think transcendent. And sometimes there are things that like are not necessarily like entertaining, that I love anyway. So that's 5 stars. 4 stars is like it's really good. Like, it was a really good book. It could be entertaining, it could be, thought provoking, it could be the writing, it could be the topic, it could be, all of the above. I just think it's a really good, very solid book, but I might not reread it. It's probably something I would recommend. And I just really enjoyed it. It doesn't like necessarily like own my whole heart like the 5 star books do, but 4 stars is a really good book. For me, a 3 star book is like, it was good. Like, it did what it was, like what it said it was going to do. If it was a mystery thriller, it was a good mystery thriller. Like, I was thrilled, it was mysterious, etc. It was a good book. It was mid. It was like it did. I mean, it wasn't great, but for the most part, it was just like, it's a pretty good book. It's like, it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Now, when we get into 2 stars, I don't think I usually do 1 star. I really don't, because it's like, anything that's less than 3 stars, I usually just a 2 star. They're just like, I didn't enjoy it for whatever reason. I just didn't enjoy it, and I finished it anyway. And I think that's probably because like I'll finish something because it's like I need to get to the end. I need to know what happens. And usually if it's 2 stars, it's because I'm like disappointed at the ending. Because if something isn't like good from the beginning, I usually, DNF it. if I give a book no stars at all, that means it's just like unrateable. Like it's so next level, like it's a classic or something like that, that it's been like it doesn't need me to rate it. Like a lot of times like classics I don't rate, you know. Sometimes I do. This is, uh, I play a little fast and loose here with my rules. But and then another reason why I wouldn't rate a book is because it was so disturbing or upsetting, or I had such a like, I don't know, bad or icky or something kind of reaction to it that I just can't even go there to give it a rating. So that's typically what my rating scale is like with books on Goodreads. And also I should probably put in my description box below my Goodreads thing so that if you want to follow me on Goodreads, you can if you're interested. Okay, and then another thing to tell you is that when I do not finish a book, I've usually read about like 20 to 30% of the book before I DNF. I don't, yeah, for the most part, I give it what I think is a decent try before I'm just like, meh, no. Because I usually can pick up a book and read like 20% of it, um, unless it's like a super, super long one. But for the most part, I can get through a good 20 to 30% of it, like when I first pick it up. Okay, having said all that, this is going to be longer than I thought, I'm sure, this video. But yeah, I'll try to quickly go through, scroll through some of these books that I did not like. So if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at my list here. So first of all is the book Outline by Rachel Cusk. So I don't want to get like give too much into like the premise of these books and what they're necessarily about, because I didn't, finish them. This one is one I didn't finish, although I'll probably talk about some that I did finish. Anyway, I did not finish Outline. I'd heard a lot about Rachel Cusk, the author, and she sounded really intriguing. She's, I guess, known for writing like stream of consciousness, literary fiction. So in Outline, I guess I'll give you a little bit of a brief summary. This is not in English, so I can't give you a summary of this one. I wasn't expecting that. Um, but it's about writers. This one is about writers on a writing retreat, something like that. And all I remember is that it was just it's very, very stream of consciousness, very, very like space out of time. Like you don't really know what's going on, where these people are. It's really just like these like conversations, and it's really written in that style where there's not a lot of paragraph breaks, and it's just like and sometimes I really enjoy that, and I understand why it's written that way, but for whatever reason, I was really finding this book just boring. I just couldn't get into it. And I was disappointed because I'd heard so much about this author, Rachel Cusk. She might be one she might be a favorite, of yours out there. So let me know if I just picked the wrong one to start with. It could have been my mindset at the time, but I couldn't do it. I was bored. Okay, next book that I did not finish, yeah, was this one, Talking at Night by Claire Daverly. So, Talking at Night by Claire Daverly is I guess you would consider it literary fiction. It feels a little young adult to me. So, Talking at Night was billed to me as a book that is like, if you like Sally Rooney, Normal People, then you'll love this book. And I did not. I did love Normal People, which is a coming of age story for Sally. The Sally Rooney book, Normal People, is one of my favorite books. It's a coming of age story. It's these friends who have this on again, off again romance. It's like the way that it's written. I just really enjoy Sally Rooney's writing. This was not it. And I've heard of other people that really enjoyed this book, but I just couldn't get into it. The main characters, I just didn't buy into their relationship, and then like this really tragic thing happens at the beginning that just put me off because of the way that our main characters reacted to this really tragic event. It was weird. It just wasn't believable. And anyway, so Talking at Night is about a, like, I guess, like an unlikely couple, or like it's these two people that, I don't know, over the years they have this on again off again thing, if I'm remembering correctly the way that the premise was told to me. So Talking at Night, didn't finish it. Another book that I didn't like. So this is a book that I read the whole thing and I gave it 2 stars, and I'm pretty sure I talked about this here on my channel. Is called I'm Thinking of Ending Things by Ian Reed. um, there's a it's a horror. This is a horror book, and I know I don't know why I subject myself sometimes to horrors, because I like them and I hate them. But this book was made into a movie, and from what I could see of the trailer for the movie, it seemed really, really different than the book. But anyway, I read the whole book because, like, I just needed to know what the actual F was happening, right? Um, and I was disappointed by the ending. It is, no, I don't want to spoil it, because I do think, like, these types of books, that's the idea behind them. Like, you need to experience it to then have your reaction to it and then see what you think. But it's just really bizarre. You don't understand what's happening until you do. And that's really all I'm going to say about it, except I can read to you because it's very intriguing. Um, the the yeah, the premise, like what it says, like the little blurb, is really, like, draws you in. So this deeply scary and intensely unnerving novel follows a couple in the midst of a twisted unraveling of the darkest unease. You will be scared, but you won't know why. And so, like, that was all I needed to be like, okay, I want to know. I want to know why. So yeah, you're following this couple, and things just are just really weird. And honestly, the ending and the payoff for me was really quite messed up and disturbing in a really kind of misogynistic way. So that's why it wasn't for me. 2 stars. Another book I DNF'd is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I know some people really, really love this book, and it's like their favorite. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know. It just wasn't for me. Like, what I remember about it is that I started reading it, and I just like the premise of this woman who, she's immortal, and the whole thing is that she has lived, I don't know how many years now. She's immortal, but people forget her the moment that she is no longer in their, vicinity, visual presence. Like, she becomes forgotten because she makes a deal with the devil or some kind of, demon creature or something. I think that's what it was. And so she becomes immortal, and then um so you're following that, and, like, the premise is super intriguing, but, like, I guess I was just like, I don't know, it was just too much for me. I just couldn't handle that. Like, maybe not that it was too sad. I don't, maybe it was that it was too sad that just, like, she couldn't connect with people because they would forget her. And I don't know, maybe it's something I will go back to, but at the time that I was trying to read this book, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, I did not finish. Bride. So this is a vampire werewolf romance by Ali Hazelwood. Bride. People love this series. I know the second in this series came out this year, which I think is called Mate. But Bride, I tried, just like, I don't know, it was like, it reminded me a bit of True Blood, if you ever watched the True Blood series, but, like, not in a good way. Like, all the bad things about True Blood were what I was seeing in here. Like, I didn't like the male lead character. He was, I don't know, kind of icky, just not for me. And it just was, I don't know, it was too much like rich people vampire werewolf drama, and I just didn't I didn't finish it. I didn't finish that one. And then another book that I did not like, gave 2 stars to, is The Husbands by Holly Gramazio. This one was another one. So this is like a magical realism where this woman is, every time her husband, quote unquote, goes up into her attic, he comes back down as a different person, and like her whole life around her has changed in various different ways. So the man that is her husband, she doesn't have a husband, but like in this magical realism thing, all of a sudden she has this husband, and new husbands every time. And like the premise sounded so good, but the execution of the book just wasn't. Like I didn't learn anything. Like I didn't learn anything. Like it wasn't like she was like, I don't know, on this journey for what reason. Like it wasn't even like absurdist. It just didn't, I just didn't like it. So 2 stars. Then I read a book that I did not rate, and I think I did talk about it here on the channel. In March, I read The Lamb by Lucy Rose. Here, I'm just going to read you my review on Goodreads. I wrote, "This was the single most disturbing book I've ever read in my life. I can't believe I read the entire thing. I need to quickly read something else to restore my faith in humanity." So this is a horror novel where the it's about it our main characters are a mother and daughter team who live like somewhere in these remote woods, and basically they lure and trap people and then kill them and cook them and eat them. So they're cannibals. And our young, protagonist is the daughter. She's like, I don't know, 11, 10, 11 years old, something like that. Or we see her grow maybe a couple years. And then one day they lure and trap a woman who they decide, or the mother decides not to kill, but becomes like involved with her in a relationship with the mother. So the mother and this other woman have this relationship. And so I know, like on an intellectual level, that the cannibalism is supposed to be this metaphor for love, and like needing love, and like eating love, and like like, I don't know, familial stuff, and like whatever. But the and there was a very poetic style to the writing, but God, it was just horrific, like like traumatizing horrific. So I couldn't rate it at all. Um, then let's see, then I had some good ones. Oh, and then here's another DNF. Red Rising by Pierce Brown, the Red Rising saga, #1. I did not finish. I read a good chunk of it. And then so this is I mean, it's a dystopian world where there's the society is like separated by colors, and the reds are people, I guess we're on Mars, and the reds are like the working class people. And they're unaware though of this like elite society that is happening above them, and they're like mining. I mean, like you start out with the people that are mining, and so you're like, I don't know, it seemed like good at first, like it was like this is going to be a story about like the laborers and like them coming to, but it just like took these turns that I wasn't, I just, it wasn't for me. And I feel like this keeps happening to me with science fiction, because this is obviously a science fiction book, where I think I'm gonna really like something and then I don't. Maybe I like science fiction shows and movies more than books. Is that even true? I don't know. Okay, so Red Rising did not finish. Then I had some really good books that I loved, but we'll talk about that another time. Then I read, see, here's another one. It's a science fiction dystopian, Moon of the Crusted Snow, by Wabashig Rice. I don't know if, I'm so sorry, I'm not saying the name correctly. I did not finish this book. I tried. I don't know, it was too like it was taking too long, and I guess I just got impatient, but I guess it was taking too long to get into the whole thing. So like it starts out with like the power goes out and it's this remote like village, and is are we in Alaska? We're somewhere where it's like snowy. Is it Alaska? I can't remember where we are. Sorry. But like it's this kind of like remote, area, and these people in their town or whatever, the power goes out, but then I guess as it turns out, like power, like, world's ending, right? Apocalypse. Um, and it just was moving too slowly for me, and I don't know. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do that one. So I didn't finish it. Then I tried to read Lady Macbeth by Ava Reed, and so this is a retelling of Macbeth from the perspective of Lady Macbeth. And I started it, and just the point of view of Lady Macbeth, it really felt like it felt like very Sophia Coppola coded, like very, you know, Marie Antoinette, the but I know I like that stuff too, because I like Sophia Coppola's Marie Antoinette and I like the Virgin Suicides, but it was just too like, I don't know, it had this like aesthetic that just wasn't working for me when I first started reading it, and I just didn't finish it. So maybe that's something I would pick up again later, but I don't know. Then I tried to read a book by Keanu Reeves called The Book of Elsewhere. I think I talked about this on the channel, and I did not finish it. And I absolutely tried. It was another, was it science fiction? It's very strange. It's like these different vignettes, and it's science fiction, and it's like following this like kind of like perfect man, but there's like it has like this touches of like futurism, and also like really kind of like ancient kind of history, mythology, legend kind of in there, and it was intriguing, but I just couldn't like get past into it. Like it just, I got bored, basically got bored. Then I had I had a really good kind of run there. Then I read Liquid, a love story. I've talked about it here on the channel. This was it was billed as a literary fiction, but romance, and it was about this girl who was supposed to be like, who wanted to get married within like a certain time frame, and was going to be using this like dating spreadsheet to like find her perfect match or something like that, and it just wasn't that. Like it just what absolutely wasn't that. Like the whole book changed midway through or halfway through. There's like this whole other like thing, and it just wasn't what I was expecting it to be, and I just didn't like it. So I gave that one 2 stars. Then another book I didn't like and have talked about here too is The Sirens by Amelia Hart. I gave this 2 stars because I read Wayward and kind of liked it from her before. And this was really just Wayward again, but make it mermaids and make it like, I don't know, like it was this like weird feminist kind of ideology that I just didn't understand, could get on board with. It was like, I don't know, it just was sort of like kumbaya and not something that was palatable for me. Just didn't like it. 2 stars. And it was another one of those where it's like multiple points of view over history. And yeah, historical fiction, didn't like it. Then I read, okay. I read Our Infinite Fates. This one I did read and I gave it no stars at all, no rating whatsoever. Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. This is a young adult romance. And the premise is really interesting because it's about these two people who are immortal, who are living their living lives over and over and over again, infinite lives, and one is destined to kill the other. So they only live to a certain age, and I think it's like teenage, 18, I think, before one of them has to kill the other one. And of course, they, fall in love. It follows them over the course of all these, like, not all, we can't have an infinite book, right? But like, I don't know. I wrote this. This is what I wrote. I wrote, I can't rate this book at all. It was 51st Dates meets Lucifer? Question mark. It had passages here and there that were so promising, but it never came together cohesively. So I couldn't rate it because like the ending also was just so wild. It was so wild. Yeah, but I don't know. I might recommend it. It's weird. But yeah. So no stars for that one. Then I had a really good reading run. Oh, then I DNF'd a book called The Natural Way of Things by Charlotte Wood. And this is a book that I picked up because I was told that if you like dystopian books like I Who Have Never Known Men, then you would like The Natural Way of Things. This is a book about it's I think it's an apocalyptic book where I think where women have been women there it starts out with women who have found themselves like caged in the middle of this desert. They don't know why they're there. Then like it starts to like build up to like that these women for some reason are like some kind of like celebrities, actresses, well-known people in some kind of way. And I don't know, it was just really brutal. It was incredibly violent, very brutal, and I just couldn't do that at the time. So I DNF'd that one. Then the next book that I DNF'd is it's a short book of literary fiction. It's called Audition by Katie Kitamura. And what I remember about this book, I think I DNF'd it like pretty early on. I did try. I think it was just like I don't know, the people it's so it's about, hang on. It's literary fiction. It's about a woman, one woman, the performance of a lifetime or two, a mesmerizing Mobius strip of a novel that asks who we are to the people we love. Two people meet for lunch in a Manhattan restaurant. She's an elegant, accomplished actress in rehearsals for an upcoming premiere. He's attractive, troubling, and young enough to be her son. Who is he to her, and who is she to him? So then there's two narratives that unspool. Like, I just couldn't get on board with the characters. I didn't, I mean, and I don't always have to like my characters, but I have to like, there has to be something about them. I just didn't find them interesting. And the writing was, I don't know, it was like a style that I just couldn't sink my teeth into. Maybe that's one I would return to, but it wasn't for me. Then I DNF'd another horror book called Mary by Nat Cassidy. And I started reading this book and I think it just scared me. It was scaring me too much. There was like I don't know. It was too creepy and I was getting scared. But the premise of this horror is what is the premise? Mary is a quiet, middle-aged woman doing her best to blend into the background, unremarkable, invisible, unknown even to herself. But lately things have been changing inside Mary, along with hot flashes and body aches. She can't look into a mirror. Oh, yeah, because I thought this was gonna be a novel that like was like a metaphor for perimenopause and and stuff like that. And I don't know, it was creeping me out. There was stuff with dolls or people like melding into the walls, something like that that was like freaking me out, and I didn't finish it. Another book that I did not finish it's a romantasy that people have been, and a duology romantasy that people have been talking a lot about this year is the One Dark Window. It's the Shepherd King duology by Rachel Gillig. And this book I started reading because it's a romantasy and there's an element that has to do with tarot. And to be honest, I just couldn't get on board because the tarot system is not like the tarot system. It's like has to do with cards, but it's like I don't know. I couldn't get into it. So I didn't finish that. I started reading another one I did not finish, Light from Uncommon Stars by Rika Aoki. This is one that I didn't really give a chance to. I think I just started it and I wasn't in the right headspace for it because I can't remember a thing about it right now. So I think that might be a book that I would return to. So I think I will take it off my DNF and put it back on to my want to read list. Then okay, then I tried to read The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. I want to read this author. Like I hear so much about him. He wrote The Buffalo Hunter, and I wanted to read that one. And then I don't know, it just this book was really gory, and there was like gore that had to do with animals, and it was intriguing. It was slow paced. That was another thing that was hard for me to get into, at least at this time. I mean, I guess my attention span is, changed over the years. I'm impatient these days, but I sometimes I'm okay with like slow burn stuff. But it's a horror. Yeah, it's a horror. And I couldn't get past the gore. That's what I wrote. The gore got to me. Then Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine. I started this and the voice of the main character, I think just annoyed me and I couldn't get into it. But this is one of the books that was on my 25 and 25. I didn't talk about that, but anyway, I did not finish that one. Um, I read a book. This is a little romance, a little romantasy, maybe. I read this whole thing and I don't know why. It's called Homegrown Magic by Jamie Pacton. And was this the one with the plant magic stuff? Yeah, hold on. Let me read to you. A delightful, queer, romantic fantasy full of friends to lovers, chemistry, found family, rival family drama, and cozy garden magic from two acclaimed YA authors. So I think that's why, because it was an adult romantasy that felt like it was a young adult, young adult. And so it just didn't work out for me. I guess it was cute, but for me, it just wasn't like it was cute, but I don't know. Maybe I would give it 3 stars thinking about it now instead of two. But yeah, so Homegrown Magic. I guess it was cute. Anyway, let me go on. Oh, here's another book that I did not finish. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I heard lots and tons about this book, and it's a historical. What is it? Is it horror? Is it fantasy? It is. What are the categories? Fantasy, horror, fiction, historical fiction, dark fantasy, high fantasy. I don't know. I think it's more like historical fiction fantasy. I don't know about the horror part, but so I really wanted to get into this and I thought that I was starting to, but it was just like, I don't know, there were too many characters for me at the time. I don't know, it just wasn't working for me at the time. I didn't really there wasn't any character that I really liked, and I don't have to like the characters though. Like, it could be unlikable, but I just couldn't get into that one. Okay, The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. So I have yet to read Frida McFadden because I have tried to read The Housemaid. I've read the first like 10-20% of this book a bunch of times and I can't get into it. People love her. She's like huge and I just not for me. I just keep trying to read it and keep getting bored. So, The Housemaid did not finish. Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Maria Griffin. This is another horror. It's really like Little Shop of Horrors, kind of like a plant is supposed to like become cannibalistic. Well, eat people, not cannibalistic. A plant is gonna eat people, and it starts out like I started out with our characters, and it's like maybe a romance. I don't know. There's several characters. I think I was getting confused by the characters, and the writing was just like overly dense for no reason. Like I don't feel like it was like the visual detail that it was giving was serving like any purpose really. Like it wasn't like I feel like they could have described it was like being descriptive and making you feel like you're in the place is one thing, but I just feel like it was like how many adjectives do we really need about this table? You know what I'm saying? Like some high fantasy books do that as well. That like I don't know. I like kind of like maybe sometimes like kind of sparse poetic language more, but whatever. I couldn't finish this book, but mm, I don't know. Maybe it's something I would return to. Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Tours is a book that maybe I should take off this DNF and put back into my want to read. I was looking for like witchy vibes at this time, so this is October, and I don't know, I couldn't get into the book. But it is about it's a debut novel. Two estranged half sisters tasked with guarding their family's library of magical books must work together to unravel a deadly secret at the heart of their collection, a tale of familial loyalty and betrayal and the pursuit of magic and power. So, but like the thing I think that kind of turned me off about this is that a book can kill you. This book kills people. And like I was just like, no, I don't want that. So, yeah, then I tried to read The Bewitching by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. And another one, it's like a historical fiction horror, and these books that are like these timelines and different POVs across different timelines, I think maybe that's just not for me. I just I didn't like it. I couldn't get into that one. And some people really loved this book, and I just couldn't get into it. So I DNF'd The Bewitching. Then I read, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why. I read We Love You Bunny by Mona Awad, because I'd read Bunny and really liked it. Well, did I really like Bunny? I was really like, it was kind of captivating. Bunny was, I'm glad I read it. It was something different and unexpected, and I liked Bunny. We absolutely did not need a sequel to Bunny, and I also listened to the audiobook, which was almost unlistenable because of the voices of the bunnies. So like the first book is told from the perspective of our girl who's not in this like bunny girl clique. I mean, I guess I have to tell you what if you don't know what Bunny is about. So Bunny is about these they're graduates in graduate school, and they are creative writers, and they're in like a cohort for creative writing, and these really saccharine, passive aggressive, kind of like Heathers, from the 80s, girls are all friends, and they all call each other Bunny, and our main girl kind of gets sucked into this click with them, but as it turns out, they're kind of evil. They do crazy things with some crazy magic, turning bunnies into people. And it's very dark, but it's really dark humor. It's really like, it's really what's this, satirical and good. But we're not getting things from the lens of the bunnies themselves. And then in the sequel here, We Love You Bunny, it's told from the perspective of these horrible people. And while that's fine and everything, it was like I could not stomach it. Like it was just really bad. Like what, we didn't need it. It was unnecessary. The book Bunny needs to just stand alone. Like I don't know why, other than like I don't know, I guess a cash grab. Like it was, just going off of the success of the first book. Sorry, but didn't like it. And then another book. Oh, the last book that I'll talk about that didn't work for me, that I gave 2 stars, is a book called Hot Air by Marcy Dermansky, which is a romance. But it was I don't know. Like, I'm all for reading about unlikable characters if there's some sort of satire, irony, something that, I mean, maybe, redemption arc sometimes too, or just like making fun of these people. But if we're unironically putting forth these ridiculously wealthy people who have no soul, but that's not the purpose of it. I just can't get on board with that. So like, this is a joyfully unhinged story of money, marriage, sex, and revenge when a billionaire crashes his hot air balloon into the middle of a post-pandemic first date. I guess if I were going to try to do some, like, write like a whole essay or whatever about that book, maybe I can find what kind of like satire we're making about the wealthy and elite or something. But I don't know. I just didn't enjoy it. So I gave it 2 stars. I had high hopes for it too, because it sounded just wacky enough to be, not just entertaining, but like kind of thought provoking. And it just wasn't. It just wasn't. So that is it for all of the books that I did not finish or did not like in 2025. Now, I guess I'll talk to you about the decks. Okay, so I've already talked about like a good number of decks that like didn't work, or I didn't necessarily, gel with very well this year that I was trying to work with. So I did that when I talked about like the results of my 25 and 25. But there's some of these decks that I had and did work with that were just like, I don't know, they're like I have lukewarm feelings about, or they're just like mid, or it's just like it didn't, there's not that many of them compared to the amount of decks that I did work with this year. And I'll get to that one in another video. At some point I will tell you the number of decks that I worked with and the ones that I really loved that were like my standouts, but these were like meh. And I think it's good to point this out, because just so that you know that like not everything that I touch and work with is like a stellar experience. I mostly talk about the things that I really didn't like that were stellar experiences, because that's, I just want to share those things that were great. Um, and yeah, but there are things that just didn't turn out work out for me. And one of those things is the Kantaji Oracle. So it's a deck, but it's also a practice. So the Kantaji Oracle, this deck is so cool. Like, I really wish that this would have worked for me the way that I tried. And I did this because, probably influenced by or 100% influenced by Thea of Garden Goddess Tarot, who use this deck for following. There's 52 cards, so it follows the 52 weeks of the year, beginning with the winter solstice. So you start with the winter solstice and then go through the deck week upon week. And so I had seen, so how far did I get? I got 21 weeks in, because I have it still in order from when I started. So here, I'll go back to number one and show you cards. This deck is the deck, is the artist who did the Luminous Void tarot, which I thought the artwork wasn't for me, but for whatever reason this artwork seemed like it was going to be really good. That I wasn't opposed to it. Like, I didn't dislike it in the way that I disliked the Luminous Void. But so you start with the dark solstice sun, the winter solstice, and then every week you pull a new card. And this guidebook is like super meaty. There's so much in it. Like, there's so much to dig into. But I think even though this deck is so different, like the dawn that follows the prolonged night, primary nourishment, the living mountain. Like, these aren't typical, key phrases on a in an oracle deck. So that's one of the reasons why I thought it would work for me. Every star is a doorknob. Now, the thing that did not work was using this week upon week, because, and I think I started sharing it at the beginning of the year, that sometimes it was working, like it was resonating, based on how my week was going. And the thing is like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just not like an earthy person. I'm not like tuned into like the earthy things around me. And this book, this deck really is about like the changing of the seasons and things like that. And like that's just not my experience. So like while I could like I think what I want to try, because that practice didn't work for me, is to use this just as an oracle deck. So like your delight charms the world, that as just like a divinatory meaning could work for me alongside tarot, or even as just an oracle pull. But like a deck that is, if I'm like tuning into like the seasonal energy, that's just not something that I experience, because there really is like there are like seasons and things that happen in South Florida where I live, but those seasons are not the same as what this deck is presenting, which is like a very, very distinct difference between summer, winter, spring, summer and fall, which is not how I experience things. Like literally it's December and we're having a little cold front, and it's like, it's 60 degrees outside, but it's sunny. Like I had to even like kind of close my blinds here because the light was just so intense. Um, so like seasons, like this time of year in December and January is tourist season where I live. People come down here, it's super crowded. Everybody goes outside at this time of year because it's nice out, like it's not deathly hot. There's like, street fairs and festivals and things. Like people come down here in the winter. We call, this the people that visit the snowbirds at this time of year. So it's not like I don't experience like a winter where we're like, cozying up and bundling up. In fact, it's the quite the opposite, where things come alive and start getting busy and people are out and about, and like it's very yeah, because in the summer it's so freaking hot that people kind of stay in the air conditioning as much as possible in the summer. Like we kind of hibernate in that way. I think people that live in like desert areas do that too, just when it gets so damn hot. Like you just like literally can't go outside or you will bake. Um so yeah, the seasons in here didn't work for me, but the keywords could potentially work for me. So I shouldn't, like, I don't need to follow this as like the seasonal, type of thing that it was gonna be. And because that's just not my experience. So yeah, the Cantagy Oracle, because I have used this in the past, and I have like tons of notes and things that I wrote in here, because there's this whole like theming about like interconnectedness and like how your part in the world and things like that. And on a like a in my brain, like on an intellectual philosophical level, there's a lot of like theming in here that I really enjoy, that it's an ecological spiritual guide. But the creative prompts are also, I think, really cool. So I think I thought I would connect with it for the 52, weeks of the year, but it wasn't for me. That just didn't work out for me. Okay, speaking of which, another deck that's kind of like that is the Gaian Tarot. This deck I think I'm going to be putting into purgatory, if not just rehoming it all together. I have tried with this deck. I modded it really badly. And now it's available with just the white borders, but this is the old shipper one that had like a big ass blue border around it as well. Um, I really like this art style a lot. And I like the sister deck to it, oh my God, why can't I think of it? Herb herb crafters. God, the herb crafters is what is the one that is like the sister deck too, and I've used them paired, and I think I really liked them using them together. But like anytime I've tried to use this deck on its own, I feel nothing. Like I really do feel like nothing in readings. When I look at this deck, I'm like, oh, that's so pretty, and oh, that's, some of the people though, that it's a little I don't know, like too real, too realistic, because I know that these are people in the creator's life, you know, like from real people. Anyway, um, I just like it's cool and some of it is so pretty and so striking, but I kept trying. I don't remember what I said about this deck the last time that I think I brought it out because I had seen the creator on a, I think in a video, like with, maybe it was Susan Chang. Maybe it was Susan Chang, a tarot podcast. And I was like, oh, how cool. And I was hearing the stories about like how she created the cards and such. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I love hearing, some of those things. But then I'm like, okay, I'm going to get this deck out. And it just didn't, I don't know. I totally objectively understand why people really love this deck, but just like on a personal level, and I wish it did like look at this lady and the dog, like, ugh, but it just not, oh, I love this. I love this one too. Oh, I love this card. It's just, yeah, I like it when I look at it, but it just doesn't hit when I work with it. And that's okay. Like that's fine. Yeah, it's a total bummer that the guy in tarot wasn't, one that worked for me this year. And I'm just gonna put it on ice for a little bit now. I'm gonna just put it away for now. Like look at this squirrel. He's so cute. It's gorgeous. Just didn't pan out for me this year. So Gaian Tarot, another deck that just didn't work. Didn't work for me. Here's a set of decks that I am not sure that they're working. I don't think so. And I've talked about it, and I guess I gave like maybe I guess like a neutral or positive kind of review of them so far, but like in retrospect and since then, I'm not sure that this is like ultimately something that is gonna work for me, but I tried. So I have these little pocket zodiacs. So I have Gemini, which is my sun sign. I have Leo, which is my moon sign. And I have Libra, which is my rising. And so I've talked about like how I see astrology, and I wish that I like, I don't know, would maybe want to get more into astrology, but I really have only like paid enough attention to it in terms of like its connection to the tarot. So, anyway, here's how this deck is set up. There are like, there's your image on the front. It has like different categories that it tells you on the back. So we've got love in yellow, career in green, well-being in purple, and family in blue. So it has your little color coding at the top corner, and then it'll have on the back a message. So the message like kind of ranges all over the place. It goes from advice to like telling you like gentle advice to like firm, tough love kind of advice to like anecdotal things. So for example, we have uh good life. and this is in the Gemini oracle. So, following the principle of the cosmic octave, Costa, a Swiss mathematician and sound therapist, discovered that the orbital frequencies of the planets correspond to musical notes. May this teach you to seek harmony all around you. Okay. Um, then you have this, and it says, "Stop it." Um, Perhaps you're the zodiac sign that will have the most difficulty listening to this oracle. Stop it. It is telling you to take a break and stop rushing forward with bath with both with both body and mind. You need to focus on the here and now like a most dedicated Zen mass monk. What can I read? It's really small, tiny print. That's why. You need to, what did it say again? You need to focus on the here and now like a most dedicated Zen monk. I don't know. So, and another thing about it is that I didn't realize when I purchased them separately is that all of the artwork is the same from deck to deck. The only difference is the messages on the back. So it's going to be the same artwork, but a different message. So, like, for example, I think we read this one, didn't we? Or did I show it? Let me see if I can find the same one so that we have a, um, here we go. Okay, so here's the same. So this is from the Gemini Oracle. It says overwhelming passion. The era of Aquarius, despite its name, affects all signs. In this era, there are no boundaries, no patterns, and no limits. Love also wants to be able to express itself freely without any constraint or conditioning. Your overwhelming passion wishes to express itself in this very way. So without any constraint. Okay, so that's for the Gemini. Now, it's the same image, same category, also called overwhelming passion, but this is for Leo. Let's not forget that if there's a zodiac sign whose overwhelming passion lies in its very DNA, it's yours, dear Leo. It's the sign of the sun that warms, illuminates, and gives life. Anything that is lukewarm is not even taken into consideration, especially not now. So I'm not sure, aside from the fact that they're like, you're a Leo. You have all this sun, energy, right? That it's really saying anything like all that different from the Gemini one. Because so love without constraint or conditioning, overwhelming passion, and the way that I mean, it's overwhelming passion, right? So it's sort of, it feels the same, right? And Libra, um is the one I've used the least because I was really more interested in my sun and moon sign recently for whatever reason. And I thought that maybe it would give me some sort of like insight into the different ways that my big three, do things differently. So here again, now here we have overwhelming passion from the Libra. Let's see how different this one sounds. Here's a quote, "A man may kill one flower, two flowers, three, but he cannot hold spring." This is one of the best known phrases uttered by Gandhi, a pacifist born under the sign of Libra. Spring is in your feelings, which are exploding with vitality and are impossible to deny. So I mean, okay, Gandhi was a Libra. Okay. I honestly am like not sure. These are, these messages are something that at all works for me. I do really like the artwork though. Like I do like the artwork and I was really excited to get into something that felt like I could kind of explore my specific birth chart, zodiac signs more deeply, but mm, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe somebody else that is more, maybe an astrologer, would appreciate these more, and because they know maybe more about those, about the specific signs, that hits for them um more specifically, like it makes sense. Or maybe these would work in like alongside more of an astrological reading that I don't necessarily know how to do with birth charts and stuff. I don't know. Like you, if you're an astrologer, let me know what you think. I'd be very curious to know about these pocket zodiacs. I'm not getting rid of them yet. I might give them another try if I can find some sort of like way to use them that might work better, instead of like just like randomly when I'm like wanting to investigate that particular aspect of myself. So yeah, the pocket zodiac, I don't know. Didn't work for me. Two more decks that didn't work for me, or that are just like big kind of like question marks in my mind right now, that I haven't talked about too much, I don't think. I don't know. I already told you guys that I do not remember anything that I say on here. Sorry. Okay, so here's one. This is Manzel's Tarot. And it is, yeah, Manzel's Tarot. And this is, I forget which edition this is. There's several editions. I think that this is available for purchase now, different versions of this. But at the time that I got it, it was, I don't know, it was not easy to find or get. And there was a whole, it was really difficult to get it. Like I went to their website and ordered the deck, but then it didn't come for weeks upon weeks upon weeks. And I was like, what is going on? And I tried to contact them, and I just don't know what was going on there. Like, so it wasn't until I like put in a formal, like, okay, you know, because I think whatever I paid through, like I just complained like, hey, I'm not, I didn't get this, so can I get a refund, get my money back? And then all of a sudden the deck came after that like formal request went through. So like I don't know what's going on there. Like I honestly, but it was just kind of a icky experience. Like I don't know, it didn't like, it felt weird. And I was, just trying to like get past that and move on and like experience this deck. But like for whatever reason, this was just like a personal experience of mine that just, I don't know, it soured me a little bit on the deck. So, and even though this deck is gorgeous, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. It's just like artwork is gorgeous, gorgeous, right? Very, you know, um, very futuristic. It reminds me of like um sci-fi fantasy books that I've read. Like the fifth season, and it was Joniki, who's also a lover of sci-fi fantasy and the series by N.K. Jemisin, the fifth season. Um, it's the wait, the fifth season is the name of the first book, but it's the whatever. Why can't I think of the name of the trilogy? Anyway, she was the one who showed this deck, but a different version of this deck on her channel that made me, that really made me want to go out and get it. And because I'm like a deck that reminds you of the fifth season, like love that, love that book too. And so, and it does, but I'm still like really stuck on like my experience of purchasing it. So it's to hard for me to connect with it, and I'm hoping that that changes. Like I really want like maybe just enough time to go by so that that changes. Or like, and I feel like that can happen with, with other decks too, when like if you let like, the narrative around a deck like get to you too much. You gotta, like you gotta just like follow your own gut instincts because there have been lots of decks that have been wildly popular, wildly unpopular, or wildly unpopular for originally being popular and overhyped. There's just, I mean, like, it's just natural that like people, some people are gonna like some things and other people are not. And so like a lot of things can get, stuck in your head, especially in a very small community such as the deck enthusiast community, not just tarot readers, but the deck enthusiast community. um, so anyway, like it's just, one of those things that I think like will wane over time with Manzel's tarot. Like it won't be as close, like the experience that I had, it won't be, as top of mind, and I can let that go and really just like explore the deck. So I think that's why that one isn't working for me right now, but I think eventually like it will. And if it doesn't, I just, won't use it, and I'll figure out what to do with it from there. Um, you know? And then lastly, this is a deck that I think I'm definitely going to be rehoming because now I know, like I just know I should have known that this is just not a not for me deck, and I wanted it to be for me, but it's not. So the Intuitive Night Goddess Tarot, I've talked about this deck several times, I think, on the channel, and I tried, and there's some things that I really like about it, but it's just every time I try to use it, it's just not something that works out for me. So I'm going to go ahead and, well, I mean, right now I'm just sort of putting everything into purgatory because I do want to do another round of like of of decks, like a whole, like spend more time thinking about things before. Like this is a great card. And then that one I don't like as much, So some things I really enjoy about this deck and some things I really don't. Like I don't like this Temperance, but the Seven of Wands is cool. Like this Three of Cups I really like. Um yeah, that's okay. I don't really like this Three of Swords. Um I don't know, just some of it I like and some of it I don't. And it's just like as a working deck, it just doesn't work for me, hasn't worked for me. I just haven't wanted to use it. So I think it's gonna go into the box, and then when I have like, I'm gonna like, as I go this year in 2026, I'll talk more about that, I guess, when I get to like plans, which are very loose. My plans for 2026, I think, are gonna be pretty open and loose. I think that's the idea. That's the vibe that I'm kind of in. So for the box, it's gonna go in there and hang out, and then when I figure out what I want to do, I'll do something with them. Because I might, I like to give away decks first. Like I like to give away decks to people I know. That kind of thing. Um, anyway, okay, oh my gosh, this is probably ridiculously long. I can't make a short video, I guess. Um, so yeah, that's all the things that didn't work. And then not to be such a Debbie Downer, right? Wah, wah. But no, I think it's good to share things that didn't work out. And but with the, like with the understanding that like like things change, things constantly change, and I might, in a different year, these decks and these books and these things might have worked out for me, but this is just the way that things panned out in 2025. What didn't work, just like this past week, that, got sick, daughter was sick, things didn't work. My plans for December have changed. And that's cool, that's fine. I'm gonna try to roll with the punches as much as possible. But yeah, I really wanted to share these things with you. I hope that you enjoyed it. I don't know if talking about the books for too long was something you guys didn't like, or the decks. And You just wanted to, hear about the decks here at the end. But anyway, if you did stick with me this whole time, I really appreciate you. Thank you for hanging out with me. And yeah, I hope that you all have a beautiful, wonderful day. Bye.